Hi, this is Jonna with Bees Knees SVG, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble this adorable mummy belly lantern just in time for Halloween. So let's go ahead and open up Cricut Design Space, go to the Upload button, select Upload Image, and browse out to find wherever you saved your file onto your computer. Select it, hit Continue, hit Upload, and now we have it on our canvas. And as you probably noticed in the file, you have two different options of mummies. One is a hanging one, which is what this one is, and one is a tabletop, so one that's sitting down. This tutorial is taking you through the hanging one, but if you follow the steps, then the assembly is the same for both of them, so it doesn't matter which one you're choosing to use, go ahead and follow along. So this is the point where if you want to resize it, I think it's a perfect size, but if you want to resize it, now is the time because everything is grouped together. So make sure you select it and move everything bigger or smaller together so it works out. If you want to change colors of anything, go ahead and select ungroup, and then that frees these up to individually be changed. But you can just upload it and go because it is ready to go. So we're going to hit the make button. It's smart to save your, I didn't save mine, but it is smart to save your projects. I'm going to cut mine on my mat. Let's talk about material size. So this is set up for 12 by 12. What I usually do when I come in here is I change mine to letter. Why is that? Because I love to use the Michaels Recollection cardstock 8.5 by 11, which is letter size. Comes in those packets of like 50, and they're always on sale. So I find that a super affordable way to do paper crafting. However, in this case, my absolute favorite white cardstock is American Crafts 12 by 12 textured white. So I'll link that below, but that's what I'm going to use. So go ahead and select your material size that you are using, and let's talk about the pieces. So these little pieces right here are the panels, and they are the mummy wrapped. And so they're a little bit intricate. So what I do with those is I use the cardstock for intricate cut setting. So if you have a maker, you can just browse for that. If you have an Explorer, take your dial and turn it to custom. And then right here is that setting, cardstock for intricate cuts. So even though these other pieces don't necessarily require that, they'll just all cut out that way, and that is totally fine. So for the second one, I do the same thing because I have this guy, which is a little intricate, and then my panel, which is intricate. Then we have the black background, and that I cut out of 65 or 80 pound cardstock. So you definitely want to use one of the two of those. If you get too thick, it gets harder to cut and it just gets harder to assemble because the thickness gets too much. So I just use medium cardstock to cut this guy out. And then these blue pieces are your vellum pieces. And the vellum pieces go behind the panel to give it that nice frosted lantern-y look. And luckily, Cricut has a setting for that, and it's called vellum. So again, browse out and find that and use that. Let's also talk about the mats we're going to cut them out on. I always use my blue light grip mat when I'm cutting out paper because otherwise if you use the green medium grip, unless it's very, very used and not very sticky anymore, you can tear your cardstock when you're removing it from the mat. So unless you're using glitter cardstock, I use my green mat for that. Otherwise, I use a nice clean blue light grip mat to cut out all of these pieces. So let's go ahead and do that now. So first what you want to do is anytime you have a intricate paper cut, sometimes you have these little danglies that hang on that you need to pull off. So go ahead and just push those out. I like to push them toward the back and pull them from the back. That way if it tears by any chance, you will not see that because it'll be hidden in the back. So go ahead and clean up all your pieces. So first we're going to start with the panels, and I designed these panels to actually go in a certain order. So you'll notice that these three are unique and then we repeat. So this is the order they go in. This is face up. If you don't put them in this exact order, or if you do them backward, that's actually no problem. There's so much going on, no one will notice. But if you notice, like, that wrap is intended like to go all the way across to make it look continuous. But again, if you just put them in a random order, it's still gonna look fabulous, so don't worry about it. So, but what we wanna do first is we want to take a panel and flip it over so it's on its back, and then outline it in glue. Try to keep your glue close to the edge, the inside edge, and then go ahead and put some dots throughout the mummy wrap. Then take your nice vellum pieces that you cut out, and then just stick your vellum piece right on the back. Make sure it does not hang over the edge. And there's our first mummy panel done. So go ahead and do that to the rest of them. Okay, we have all of our panels done. Now let's go ahead and set those aside and work on putting our mummy together. So for our mummy, we have these pieces. Now, I like to make my lanterns look just as gorgeous from the back as the front, so that's why our first starting piece is white. So if you look at it from the back, it's gonna match the color of the lantern in the panels, so it's gonna look very cohesive and very nice. So this is our first layer, and then this guy goes in the middle, and this goes on top. So let's go ahead first. Make sure they are facing the same direction. So if you see, you want to make sure that that little hook lines up exactly. So that is the correct direction. Then I'm going to take my black one. I'm going to turn him upside down, and I am going to put glue on him. And now I'm going to line him up on top of the white guy. I'm going to be very careful, and I'm going to pay super close attention that these slots line up very well. I actually got very lucky. He just kind of fell into place, which doesn't always happen. So that's perfect. So see what I mean by these slots? You still have space because we're going to need to put something in there. So you don't want to overlap those, then it won't work. So next, we are going to glue our face and our body on top of the black portion. So again, make sure this is facing up, and then go ahead and flip the body and flip the face and put glue on them. And again, you'll want to focus on lining this center portion up. Make sure the slots are lined up, and if that's all lined up, then the rest of it is going to just fall into place, and it's going to be super easy. Now we have his head, and it's a little wobbly until you get it on. The nice thing I like about this glue I use is it does dry clear. So I can move him around a little bit. Perfect. We have our cute mummy ready to go. Now we just need to make him into a lantern. So you need to grab these pieces next, and you'll want to start with this one, which has the notches in the top and the bottom on the top and the bottom. And you're going to take your mummy, and you're just going to slide these notches right in. And that was why it was so important to make sure those were lined up correctly when you were putting him together. So slide him in, and then just take it and fold it over, and make sure you can still see the notch, because we are going to take this guy next with the notches in the bottom of each one. We're going to take him, and we are going to slide him right in to that space that we just made. Perfect. So we have our lantern, but now we need to stabilize it. So grab these two pieces, these circles. They're both the same size, so it doesn't matter. And this lantern pieces, they are a circle, so it doesn't matter which way is top or bottom. So it makes it really easy. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to take this, and the circle has slots, and your mummy body, the lantern pieces on there have little slots. You just want to slide those in, and then it'll hold the lantern pieces in place. Now, this can be a little bit tricky because it's tight, but it has to be to stabilize it. So you can bend the paper a little bit to get it in there, but please just do not tear it and do not crease it. If you tear or crease it, then it will not be stable. So there's our bottom, and then we take our next one and we put him in the top. Again, they're the same size, so it doesn't really matter which circle you started with. And if you want to start at the top instead of the bottom, that is totally fine too. There's no right or wrong way to do that. The only wrong thing is if you bend it or crease it. And then just make sure when you're done, go around, make sure nothing's popped out. Sometimes they like to do that. They like to pop out when you're popping another one in. So just go around and check and make sure that they're all in. So we have our mummy and we have his belly ready. And now we're just going to grab these panels and we are going to just slot them right in. There's little slots in the top and the bottom circles. And again, if you want to try to get it in the right order, I showed you that order earlier. If not, as you can tell, it's not really that big of a deal. And sometimes you just have to work those, push them up and down just to make sure there's no gaps at the top or the bottom. So don't be afraid to manhandle it a little bit, just don't tear anything. And there is our very cute, all wrapped up mummy. But we just need one more thing. We need to light this little guy up. So let's talk lights. I've switched over to my sitting mummy, who is super cute. And my first option is just your regular LED tea light. What I like about this is, one, you probably might have it sitting around your house, and two, it gives off that yellowy, eerie Halloween vibe. My second option is this little guy. Just twist him to turn it on. And he's cool because he is very small, so he's easy to plop in these. He doesn't have a lot of weight to him, so if you're hanging these, it doesn't add more weight. And also 40 come in a pack, they're very affordable. So if you're making a lot of these for a party, it's a great affordable option to get and light up a whole bunch. And I saved my favorite for last, which is this little LED guy. And what I like about him is, as you can tell, he's changing different colors. So it can flash through, or you can pick one color, but the best part about it is it comes with a remote where you have all these different options to control it. But my favorite part is you can just turn it off and on with the remote. So you don't have to open it up in the back and turn it off and on every evening. So I will link all of these options below, and you pick whichever one works best for you. And have a very spooky, happy Halloween.